Street, tax map 27-2, lot 54. It's a village commercial zoning district, and there's also a portion that's shoreline zone, which is limited commercial. Do you want to take us through this?
Sure thing. So in January of 2015, the applicants came before the board and asked for a change of use of a non-conforming use in their existing structure, which is the Sweats Auto and Tire building. What they wanted to do was take a portion of that building, which was a storage area, and change that to a microbrewery. The board approved that, and this is, they're coming back before the board to amend that application to now include 2 of the 4 garage bays that they have within the building. Is my understanding that would also be for the microbrewery to house larger microbrewing equipment, such as a canning device. So they're before us today because the board has to make a determination. Well, the use is a commercial use, so in the shoreland zone, so they're here before the board because of that. They're also here because the board has to make a determination that this new use, or the use, will have no greater adverse impact than the current commercial use it's replacing. So going from auto tire repair to microbrewery.
And essentially expanding that microbrewery a little bit in terms of what they're...
So they'll be doing a renovation.
Yeah.
Inside.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do the Sweat family, is there someone that wants to answer questions from the board members? Is that what I do now?
Sure, and they can explain the project too if they'd
Yep.
like.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Prentice Sweat. I'm one of the owners of Marsh Island with, what was this? No. With my parents, Alice and Jim.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we're a 3-barrel system. When we double batch, we get about 7 barrels of beer, which is about 14 half-barrel kegs a week, which isn't a ton of beer. We've gotten to the point in the state where our distributor has told us they need more product to keep us relevant, to keep us on the shelves. If you hand someone a case of beer and say, all right, you don't have anything for the next 2 weeks until we get you something else, it's not ideal in the industry. So our plan is to take 2 of the 4 bays in the back, convert them into a 10-barrel brew house, which will double batch into 20 barrels of beer, which will give us about 3.5 times the size we are now. We will keep the equipment we have now other than our canning line. If we expand, we will get rid of the smaller one and go with a bigger one, but we will keep all the equipment we have right now. The bays will stay open. One person will be moved to the Hogan Road location, but there will be no reduction in manpower for the bays, and we will be looking to hire a couple additional people in the brewery for the expansion.
Thank you. Any questions from the board members?
Is it relevant with the food service truck on the property? Is that something that needs to be considered too, or?
Nope, that will be a separate
Separate, okay.
agenda item, yeah.
Okay.
Other questions? All right, so I'm going to open up for public comment. Okay, I think I'll just leave it open for the time being. Do we have the particulars that we have to vote on? Does it have to be done in each one of these little items, or how do we go about this?
Yeah, do you want the finding of facts, or do you?
Yeah, that's it.
Propose finding of facts?
Yeah. Oh, I have to read this, don't I? Yeah, I have to read it.
There you go, guys.
Yeah, I guess this is all one, the same thing. It came in two sets.
Okay, so I see the little columns for yes and no. We'll do each, as I finish one, I'll just look for a nod from everybody. Okay. So proposed finding of fact amendment to an approved change of use of a non-conforming structure at 2 Main Street, James Alice and Prentice Sweat, September 20th, 2017. Pursuant to Article 4, Section 18-106E, and Article 9, Section 18-273, and Article 10, Section 18-303D of the Orono Code of Ordinances, the Orono Planning Board has considered the application of James Alice and Prentice Sweat for an amendment to an approved change of use of a non-conforming structure at 2 Main Street on the property identified as tax map 27-2 lot 54 for the purpose of a brewery. The property is located in the Village Commercial and Limited Commercial Districts. Based on all evidence presented by the applicant, reviewing agencies, town departments, and the public, it has found the following. 1, these are the requirements under Article 4, Section 18-106E. Schedule of uses, that the use is allowable use within the Village Commercial District and conforms to the requirements of the district. Looks like a yes. Requirements under Article 9, Section 18-273, table of land uses, that the use is an allowable use within the limited commercial district and conforms to the requirements of the district. That looks like a yes. And lastly, requirements under Article 10, Section 18-303D, change of use of a non-conforming structure, that having received a written application and reviewed written documentation from the applicant regarding the probably effects on public health, safety, erosion and sedimentation, water quality, fish and wildlife habitat, vegetative cover, visual and actual points of public access to waters, natural beauty, floodplain management, archaeological and historical resources, and functionally water-dependent uses, the new use will have no greater adverse impact on the water body, tributary, stream, or wetland, or the subject or adjacent properties and resources than the existing use. And we're good with that one. Okay, a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the request as submitted with the following 2 recommendations, stipulations rather. 1, that all interior renovations must be permitted and certificates of approval must be issued prior to operation. And 2, all required state and local licenses, if required, must be issued prior to operation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? That looks like unanimous. Thank you. So the public hearing will close now. All right. And now we do the next one, right? Okay. Okay, this is a request for planning board action from James Allison Prentice Sweat. It is a permit to establish a commercial use food truck in the Shoreland Limited Commercial District, as well as the Village Commercial District, located at 2 Main Street, tax map 27-2 lot 54. This is a Village Commercial zone as well as a Limited Commercial Shoreland zone. And Jana, if you would not mind explaining why this is coming before the planning board.
Sure. So normally a use such as a food truck, which is a commercial use, would be able to be permitted by the Code Enforcement Office. But again, because it's in the shoreland zone, it has to come before the planning board. If you look in the table of land uses in the shoreland, section 18-273, commercial uses have to go before the planning board, which is why this is here before you today. I realize that the planning board doesn't normally approve or go through looking at permits. So section 18-275, administration of the shoreline zoning ordinance, provides some standards that the planning board would review as part of a permit process. So that is what you would have to look at today, is looking at those standards and deciding if you would approve with conditions or deny the permit for a food truck.
Okay, do you want to explain a little bit about this, and then we'll have the,
Sure. So the applicants would like to have a food truck placed on their property. The food truck has already been, has a license from the state to operate. They have a conditional license from the city, I believe, that they just got on Monday night, and that's conditional on approval by the planning board tonight. The food truck would operate during the hours that the brewery is open, and the location that the food truck is proposed to be placed has been looked at by the code enforcement officer and the town's fire marshal to ensure that it is a good spot to put the food truck. With that, I would offer to let the applicant describe it any further.
So I am Alice Sweat, and it's common practice, not so much here, but more in the Portland area, to have food trucks at tasting rooms. Might be something to enhance our business. The food truck is a brick oven pizza truck. It is generally in the summer located on the waterfront in Bangor. Jana visited it. It's not like a carnival truck. It's a nice truck. And they propose staying Thursdays through Sundays. We would modify our hours on Thursday and Friday to noon time if permission is granted. And they would like to be open from noon to, I think, maybe 7 or 8. We're open till at least 10 every night. Just to give, another offering, maybe to encourage people to stay a little longer in the tasting room. So it was proposed to me, the people who own it, I've known for 30 years, and it seemed like it was a good idea, and it's been, it's a general practice at tasting rooms in the Portland area, and so we thought it might be something to propose and to try.
thank you. Questions from the board? I have a couple. Where are people going to eat this pizza? In the tasting room? Okay.
Yes.
And,
Well, actually, they don't have to
Do.
eat it in the tasting room. I mean, because, they can, somebody walking down the street can take it with them, because it's but that's what we hope. I mean, there's outside seating now and there's inside
Okay.
seating, so that's our hope, but they don't have to eat it. They can take it home with them, so.
okay, thank you. I'm going to open it up for public comment.
Okay.
So Judson McIntosh, I live at 25 Edgewood, and I'm in a butter. I actually own the right-of-way that you see where it says no parking there. First I'd say is I'm not against the project. I think what they're doing there is really nice. I like what you're doing. But I have a couple questions and then maybe a concern. Not to stop anything, but just so we have an understanding. So with the food truck and its placement, where will people get in line to pick up the food and to order the food? Is it going to be out into that no parking, into that right-of-way? Or is it going to be back towards where parking lot number 4 is? You might have to look at the...
So you'll have to come up to the microphone to answer him, just because we're all recording this. right?
Dialogue up here.
Yeah.
So this is the picture. So my question is will they be coming up here, or is it
I
they
believe-
order here and then they take here, or how's that work?
I believe the windows are all on this side.
All on this side, okay.
Yes.
So, and for the rest of the board members, so that we can appreciate what just happened over there.
Yeah, it's the map where they show where
Yeah.
the actual food truck is being
And
placed.
so you said 4 and 5 is where people
Well, right,
That was
so
the question.
it's, right, the question was, is where are people gonna come up and
Yep.
order and take their food? And they're, is it gonna be from, as you're facing the food truck, is it gonna be from the right side, or is it gonna be right as you're facing it? And so is essentially, is that line gonna now back up into that no parking area if there were a line? Which I wouldn't necessarily think there'd be a line all the time, that's for sure, but if there were. So, what I wanna, my only concern in all of this, and I think we can work it out, as long as there's open lines of communication, is, you know, I don't want people and cars in the way. My tenants need to get through there.
Absolutely.
And I really don't want someone to get hit by accident, because, you know, that would be horrible. So I guess that my question would be is, if it becomes an issue, can I reach out to you? I know you, because I see you at Hogan Road Deli.
Right.
Because I can go there every once in a while.
Certainly, I mean, we had hoped maybe to have it closer to the building, but with the chimney from the brick oven, Janet expressed it has to be 10 feet from the building. So that, I don't see any, and I'm afraid if we tried to place it in a different spot, it would obscure visibility. So although this is not ideal for us either,
Yep,
it would be better to be closer proximity to the tasting room.
okay,
I think that's maybe the only place it can be.
okay.
But,
So I guess what I want to just make sure is that we have, that we can work together. So if it is a problem, hopefully it's not a problem at all, and it's just a non-issue.
right,
Because it's not like I have much traffic back there. I've got 7 tenants, and so, I don't know, it's maybe 14 car trips a day or something. It's not a ton.
there is traffic through there.
But there is, because other people use it too, as well, which they're not technically supposed to, but I'm like, whatever.
So
Anyways,
we
you don't
would
need to hear
be-
all this, so.
We would be workable. Janet, I haven't been to is
Yeah, so,
the window is on the side that would be facing the building?
yeah, and so when we went to visit them at the waterfront, we asked, I provided pictures in the packet of how it was set up, and we asked if this is how they always set up, and they said, no, we can change their setup any way possible to accommodate the site that they're located in.
Okay,
So if they locate, because at the waterfront, they might have tables set up, 10 feet out from where their truck is, whereas there's not that much space on that part, on that lot. So, they would be accommodated, and I think, they know how to run that food truck pretty well.
Yep.
And they know exactly where they can move things if you have an issue, with the line there. I think that they would be able to figure out how to move the truck properly.
okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't, that if there was an issue, I could come to you and we could work it out.
Absolutely. Well,
Perfect.
because I definitely would want people to be safe also, so if it doesn't work,
Yeah,
I mean, this is,
I mean, I think we can accommodate, it's just a question of if we have to move it a little bit or whatever, and hopefully nothing. Hopefully it's not a big deal at all. Again, overall, I think what you're doing there is great, so
thank you.
even this, I think it's a neat idea, so, okay, I'm done, I'm good, thanks.
Anybody else for public comment? Are you all set?
I am, I thought maybe
Oh,
perhaps.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. We're calling it a truck, but it's actually a trailer though, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah, so, and the trailer can, on a hitch, on a dolly, can be swung around all kinds of different directions.
but I think we have it in the least obstructive spot being like parallel to the river. As opposed, because if it were perpendicular, it would actually be in the right of way.
Right, okay. I know the service, I've been there often in the summertime, and it's not a big operation.
Right. Also, if you wanted to make it a condition that that right-of-way is not blocked, then you can add that to your motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to close the public hearing. Finding of fact? So if we wanted to add that, that would be after the fight? Right,
Got it.
gotcha. Part of the motion, I'm with you. Oh, thank God, they're short. Okay, finding of fact for the proposed permit to establish a commercial use in the Shoreland Limited Commercial District as well as the Village Commercial District, 2 Main Street, James Allison Prentice Sweat, September 20th, 2017. pursuant to Article 9, Sections 18-273, 18-274, and 18-275 of the Orono Code of Ordinances. The Orono Planning Board has considered the application of James, Alice, and Prentice Sweat for the approval of a permit to establish a commercial use food truck at 2 Main Street on the property identified as tax map 27-2 lot 54. The property is located in the Village Commercial and Limited Commercial Districts. Based on all evidence presented by the applicant, reviewing agencies, town departments, and the public, it has found the following. Requirements under Article 9, Section 18-273, a table of land uses. That the use is an allowable use within the limited commercial district. Are we good on that one? Okay. Requirements under Article 9, Section 18-274, requirements of the district that the use conforms to the requirements of the limited commercial district, if applicable. We're good on that one. Requirements under Article 10, Section 18-275, permit administration, that having received a written application and evidence of right, title, or interest in the property, the proposed use will remain safe and healthful conditions, will not result in water pollution, erosion, or sedimentation to surface waters, will adequately provide for the disposal of all wastewater, will not have an adverse impact on spawning grounds, fish, aquatic life, bird, or other wildlife habitat, will conserve shore cover and visual as well as actual points of access to inland and coastal waters, will protect archaeological and historic resources as designated in the comprehensive plan, will avoid problems associated with floodplain development and use, and is in conformance with the provisions of Section 18-274 land use standards. Are we all good on that? Okay. So can I have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the application as presented with the following 6 conditions. First, that the food trailer, I'm going to call it food trailer, will operate during the hours that the brewery and tasting room is open to the public. Second, the location of the food trailer must meet manufacturer specifications and applicable local building and fire codes. Third, the location of the food trailer, if the location of the food trailer is changed, the proposed location on the subject lot will be inspected and approved by the code enforcement officer and the town fire marshal and must meet manufacturer specifications and applicable local building and fire codes. 4, the gray water holding tank for waste will be emptied 3 times per week by Pine Tree Disposal and disposed of in a licensed facility. 5, all required state and local licenses must be issued prior to operation of the food trailer. And 6, the existing 20-foot right-of-way adjacent to the food trailer will not be blocked due to business operations.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. Congratulations. You're coming back.
All right. Did we close the public hearing? We closed it.
We did, I think, yeah.
Now, on number 5, old business, student homes. It's back again. Evan?
Yes, you heard this in July and had a good discussion around it. There was one concern that was raised during that discussion, and that was the ability of a home that's becoming a student home to switch back and forth between renting to students as defined and persons who are not students, without having to come back each time to get a new certificate of occupancy as a student home. And the direction was to incorporate a provision that would establish that, in fact, the certificate of occupancy under this provision is a one-time certificate of occupancy. You don't have to come back each time you switch. There may be other inspection regimes elsewhere in the town's code of ordinances through the fire marshal or the building code or whatever. And of course, all covered dwelling units would have to comply with those. But in this case, it'd be a one-time certificate of occupancy. So we added a proposed paragraph to clarify that. And you will see that in paragraph, section 150A4. And it is a dwelling unit for which a certificate of occupancy as a student home has been received may subsequently be used in a manner that does not constitute a student home without voiding the certificate of occupancy for future use as a student home, provided, however, that any dwelling unit or use shall comply with any other applicable inspection and code requirements. So that is the proposed response to the guidance given to the planning board. Otherwise, this is the same as you heard in July. And if you need any review of that, just tell me and I can review it.
All right, any questions for Evan? Anyone on the board have any comments? I'll make comments because that was the one that was pushing everything. I like that. That makes it clear, and we don't have to come back and forth. I did have a quick question. I don't want to draw this out too long. I know on number 3, which is just that dwelling, I might have missed this before, but a dwelling legally occupied prior to the effective date of the amendment in a manner that falls within the definition of student home may continue as a student home without a certificate of occupancy, provided it continues to register annually under chapter or whatever. So that kind of looks like a grandfather clause.
It is,
Okay, so anyone who's a student home today doesn't have to go through this process?
correct.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
Is that,
it's right. I think that there are other reasons, for a number of reasons. Dave Mylan, the fire chief, town manager, per the recommendation of the comprehensive plan, are looking at extending the fire marshal's inspection regime. Right now, the fire marshal inspects multifamily dwellings on a 3-year cycle. And, but single-family homes and two-family homes that are rented are not are not inspected. They would like to expand that inspection regime in time, I believe, and that's under some discussion. Nothing immediate that's proposed that I know of, but I know it's actively being discussed. There's a grandfathering, but there may be some additional inspections in the offing to make sure that these facilities are safe.
all right. No one else has any comments, questions?
No.
So at this point, our job here is to either recommend or not recommend this to the town council.
Yes.
That they pass it.
Recommend as written, recommend with any additional changes, or recommend not.
Everyone good?
I make a motion, we recommend it as written.
A second.
Second.
Boom. All those in favor? Done? Okay. All right. Nothing under discussion. Item number 7, adjournment. Can we get a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Boy, this is a record.
I know. Just gonna say. I hear they have a food truck.